Hey YouTube land, Tiger Rangers here. Welcome you back to another action figure review. Now this is a double review, only because I don't have the packaging for one of the figures. I kind of checked it already, but it is just something to be of interest. They're both from the same figure line, so I just said I'd review them both together. So what this is for is a Bat-Tech Batman figure and a new version of King Shark, which is I think the third iteration of King Shark, fourth possibly. So I do have the packaging for King Shark. Batman came on the exact same packaging. There is a Bat-Tech app and there is a scan code for that on the back. These are the European ones, so I don't know if there's difference between the American and the European, but you have the 3 secret weapons on the back, or the 3 hidden weapon reveals, surprise accessories. You just have the name of the character. You have the kind of blue packaging that the Bat-Tech line has been coming in, so it's pretty much the same standard stuff as with Batman. One of the interesting things, you do get a pamphlet. Now this is a pamphlet from the Deathstroke, Batwing and Harley Quinn figures. So this is Platinum Tech, and Biotech is the next line in this figure wave. And here is the insert for the Biotech. Now, you still got the same image of Batman and Robin on the front of this pamphlet. So they haven't changed anything up on the front as far as I can tell. It's exactly the same. They haven't changed the design of the Batcave or anything to match up with the big massive one. But on the back, it showcases other figures, or the figures that are available in this new wave. So on the top you have Batman. So from what it looks like, every wave will have a standard grey black suit Batman in it. So as you can see, the previous one has the same one. The only difference is the accessories he comes with. So that gives people the opportunity just to get a basic Batsuit Batman. Then the rest of them are the new versions. So you have King Shark. Now what's interesting is they show the older paintwork version of King Shark. They don't show this newer one. It's actually a lot more metallic than the one that they show on the back of the pamphlet. Robin, which I have seen with the kind of gold trim on the armors for the shin guards and the wrist gauntlets instead of the green like the one previous up above. You have a Bat-Tech Batman, which looks like the same version of the rare one. Only difference is he doesn't look as translucent. He looks a little bit less translucent, but looks to be the same. It might be a different figure sculpt. Actually, it may be the first version, just judging by the knee pads. It looks like it might be the black grey suit, just done in kind of a smoky blue purple. So there is that. This is the Bat-Tech Batman from this line, which I have. There is a Catwoman being reissued. Hopefully the accessories with her don't look as bad. The original accessories looked like they had bird poop on them. They were black, but had white, that kind of white scarring stuff going through them. And then there's Nightwing, which I believe is also reissued, but I think the uniform looks slightly different to the one that I have. The bird, or the bird logo on the chest looks different. And then there is a Joker again. This looks to be, I'm assuming they're using a stock image. I'd say it might be a translucent, more translucent version of Joker. As I knock everything over. Hopefully that might be the case. It just looks like they're using the same stock image. But then again, this is part of the Biotech line. So we'll get cracking onto the figures. So for King Shark, I won't spend too much on him. If you have this version of King Shark, you know what to expect. He is exactly the same version as this. He even has the scarring and the teeth and everything. He's just done in this kind of, he has this metallic silver for the chest instead of the flat, instead of like no paint apps on this one. I think the other version I have, which is the normal head version, the one with the kind of great white head, I can't find that at the moment, unfortunately, to show a comparison of. He's the one that came with the armor. He was also available single carded. And then, as far as I know, this might be the fourth version of him, because he came with out all the blue paint apps on him as well. So I think the Hammerhead version was originally released like the image on the pamphlet, with the kind of paint apps just on the chest and no kind of bio blue color on the arms. And then this one is just silver, kind of a almost metallic-y dark gunmetal grey for the skin tone, and then a brighter silver on the thing. And he comes with 3 accessories, all of which are more for Batman. Actually, well, I think this is Firefly's gun, if I remember correctly. I think this is supposed to be Mr. Freeze's gun, and then you have this version of the Batman gun. It's done in a sort of smoky translucent blue plastic, but it has a green metallic dry brushing over them, which is kind of nice, which kind of makes the weapons pop a bit. The Batman also comes with this gun that I'll showcase. So articulation wise, just like with some of the villains in this line, he's slightly hindered in his articulation. So he has nothing in the head. It's all a solid piece. It looks like there might be a joint, but it's where the head has been attached onto the body. You have the arms rotate and go out, can do a 360. You have a single jointed elbow, so you have that. You have hinge at the hips, can do splits. You have a thigh swivel, but you have nothing in the legs. Now, I do think they may have slightly altered this sculpt a bit. I did find on the very first versions of him, he kind of leaned forward a bit, or he had to spread his legs out really wide to get him to stand properly. This one, his legs seem to be able to be in a more neutral position without him having to splay the legs out as much. They kind of, the measure just slightly adjusted the gap between the leg, the hip, so it can go into a more natural flat position. I did have issues with the very first one where he was almost standing like that to get him to stand properly. But these ones seem to stand pretty good. And then just for a quick size comparison, here he is with the Killer Croc figure. Now, this was a 3-pack figure. It wasn't a single carded release of Croc. There was a single carded one that I saw that had green, kind of bright green paint all over him, so that I wasn't too particularly pushed to get that version. I wanted kind of a more natural color. But he's about the same height. And then just to bring Batman in, you can see he's a little bit more chunky than Batman. So that is the way this line tends to go. They seem to be kind of cartoony, chunky figures, but they do look pretty good. Now, bringing in the Batman, I'm just going to take his accessories off first. He also came with 3 accessories. So the Batman himself looks to be an all-new sculpt, with maybe exception of the head. But overall, it looks to be an all-new sculpt. If I bring in, this is the previous iteration of Bat-Tech Batman. I don't think this was a single carded version. I think this was one of the ones that came with the vehicles. But he has like larger gauntlets and more armored up appearance. This one has a more high-tech appearance. You can see there's like, again, more armored again. Gauntlets are different. The heads, for the most part, I can see is a different sculpt as well. So you do have that. He actually has more of a rounded jaw than a square jaw in this one. I'm not sure if that's easy to see on screen, but he does look, his head looks a bit more rounded. Up here, you can see does have a slight, looks like he has a bigger forehead on this version than on the previous version. But if I just move him off to the side, get him to stand, he's pretty good. Now, accessory wise, we'll just go quickly into the accessories. He comes with this blaster, which again is the same one that came with King Shark. It's done in a really nice metallic green, dark green. It's really nice. It's almost pearlescent nearly. So it has like a really nice shine to it. They are been upping their game with the accessories on these figures. The very first ones were all done in kind of a transparent plastics These ones seem to have a bit more paint apps on them. Even the grapple launcher it's done in silver, but it has this kind of weird bright green splotches all over it. So I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure it's intended to be like that. I don't think the base plastic is green. I think it's done, it's maybe cast in this kind of silverish plastic, and then there's dry brushing over it. It's a bit hard to tell whether the green is the natural color or if it's just poking, done in a way so it's poking through. Again, the backpack has the same thing going on. This is like a flight pack type thing for Batman. It plugs straight into his back. I'll show that in a minute. But again, he has very green kind of dry brushing going on. It's a similar green, but it's not as strong on some parts. Like you can see where it caught edges on this a bit more than it did on this. There's not as many sharp edges for it to catch onto, but it is the same kind of green. And for Batman, it just plugs into the back of his back, so you can put it on his back. They do have that weird kind of fabric cape. I'm not a big fan of it, but it is what it is. He can hold both accessories then in his hands. He doesn't have any holsters for them, but if I just get them in his hands, he will hold them quite nicely. So you can have him grappling and blasting and flying at the same time. So all these Batman figures generally have the same peg on the back, so you can swap the parts out. Even some of the bigger creatures, like the bigger figures, have a peg on their back. Because some of them were designed so they would come with the action backpack feature things. So that they'd have like an armored up backpack that would clip onto them and would plug in on their back. So you can have them hold those if you want. And then for the articulation points on Batman, he's the standard articulation for this line. So his head is on a swivel. It's on a ball joint, but it doesn't give you much up and down or left. Just has a more swivel. It just has a more swivel to it. His back is actually armored as well, just to showcase that off. He has the bright blue utility belt and a slightly blue outlined bat symbol. He's fairly minimalistic on the bright blue. A lot of this line, they had like this bright blue stuff for the bat tech thing. Some of the figures had like just entire lines going down through the body, so this guy's a bit more minimalistic than the other Batman, so he would fit in quite nicely in with a kind of standard, the previous Caped Crusader wave. Articulation, his arms can go up that much. Mine is a bit tight on one side. Rotate all the way around. He does stop here, doesn't go any further because of the way the armor is sculpted. He has a single jointed elbow with a swivel. Nothing in the wrist. Can do the splits that much. Can kick forward, out the side. Has that thigh swivel. Has a single jointed knee with a swivel, but it is a bit hindered by the way the boots are designed. He does have peg holes, as does King Shark. King Shark has nothing in the knees, which is the way they've been doing some of the larger figures. But overall, he's quite nice. There's nothing in the waist and no ab crunch or anything like that, which is basically how these figures are. They're kind of minimalistic design, but they're designed for play and being more robust than a super articulated figure, which would have like joints that could snap easily. These ones are kind of designed with more play involved or in mind. So just get him to hold the cannon again. He looks pretty cool, and overall he's a pretty good Batman figure. If you have any of the Batman vehicles, which I don't have handy unfortunately, I can't just grab one to hand, but he should fit quite comfortably with some of the Batman vehicles, so there is that as well. And he should fit quite nicely with the Batcave playset as well if you have that to hand. So there you go, guys. A quick video review for Batman and the King Shark figure. These appear to be new figures from Spin Masters. I think this is the latest line at the time of this recording. So there's a few other figures. I might try and pick up the Catwoman and the Robin figure to review. I haven't seen the Nightwing figure. If I see that, I might grab that as well, just to see if there's much differences between the first version of Nightwing and the current one. But I have never seen any of those ultra rare figures like that translucent blue or the Joker figure, or even the translucent red Robin and the previous translucent blue Batman. I've never seen any of those in person to grab. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give the video a thumbs up and a like, and if you want to give a comment, please feel free to do so, and hit the subscribe button, as it helps me generate more for my fan base, and I can get more videos out for you. Cheers, guys.